Welcome back to Signature Recipes. On today's show, I am going to show you how to make the perfect fluffy white rice with a tortilla surprise. This is my secret weapon into a woman's heart. Are you ready? Let's get started. Today's recipe calls for 2 cups of long grain rice. I prefer basmati rice. Olive oil, salt, tortilla. You need a pot and a strainer. Okay, first thing that you want to do is get your rice into the pot, and you want to wash it really good. Get all the starch off of it. You want to probably rinse it 2 or 3 times. Put the water in the pot. Clean the rice really good. See how it's milky? You want to strain it. Do it again. Wash that rice really good. Get your hand in there and squeeze the rice grains together. Get all the starch that makes the rice sticky off. See how, again, the water is a little bit milky. And do it again. Sometimes you may have to do this 4 or 5 times. Okay. It's not as milky this time. Looks like we're ready. So, once you're ready, you want to fill your pot about, for every cup of rice, you want 2 cups of water. Okay, once you have your rice rinsed out, you put the pot on the stove, a little bit of oil. As you can see, there's only a few drops of oil on here, and what that does is actually keeps the rice from sticking together. And you want to add a little bit of salt. In fact, it may appear that you're putting too much salt on it. You technically want it to be a little bit too salty, because ultimately at the end, once you boil the rice, you're going to rinse it out, which washes off the salt quite a bit. So you want to do a little finger taste, make sure you have enough salt on there and it's nice and salty. Okay, you want to turn on the stove on high and let that boil. You don't want to boil the rice until it's really soft. In fact, you want to boil the rice until it's just about soft, but it's still a little bit hard. Why? Because there's a step 2 to this. So it's been about 10 minutes now, and the rice has boiled to where it's almost soft. It's chewable, but it still has a little bit of hard texture to it. So now we're going to strain the rice. Okay, now that the rice is boiled to almost soft, we're going to strain it by pouring it into a strainer. Remember, at the beginning, we put a little bit too much salt on there, and that was done purposely. Here's why. Even though the rice is going to soak up the flavor that's in the water, we're going to wash most of it away, and this is what keeps the rice from getting sticky. You're going to rinse the rice, you're going to cool it down with cold water, and rinse it. Let it sit for approximately 5 minutes. Now, while our rice is sitting in a strainer for 5 minutes, you want to clean your pot, put it back on the stove. You're going to put a good amount of oil in there. Okay, cover the bottom pretty good. Remember my tortilla surprise. You're going to grab a tortilla, a flour tortilla. You're going to put that at the bottom of the pan, just like so. Once the tortilla is set in the oil, the bottom of the pan, you're going to kind of scoop the rice in there and turn your strainer over to get it evenly. What you want to do actually is build a little hill. You want to build a little mountain, okay? You're going to pile it on top, let it all fall apart, just like so. Scoop all the rice out, get all of it in there. Just like this, okay? Now, once your rice is all the way in the pot, you want to make some holes. This allows the steam to come out evenly and allow the rice to cook all the way through, not just on top or bottom, okay? A bunch of these little holes in there. And you want to let this simmer for about 20 minutes on low heat. You want to cover it with a paper towel that's going to absorb all the steam, and put a lid on and let it sit. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. As you can see, the paper towel that we put on top of this pot is soaking wet, which means it's done its job. It soaked up all the moisture, leaving our rice nice and fluffy. Look at the texture here. See how fluffy that is? It just falls apart. Okay? And we're going to turn off the stove. Now our rice is ready to be served. So we're going to grab a towel so you don't burn your hand. Very important now. You're going to grab your plate, put the plate on top of the pot. Grab it with the towel. You ready? And flip it. Okay? We're going to remove the pot, and be careful you don't burn your hand. So there we have it, a perfect little dish of rice ready to be served with the tortilla surprise, as we talked about at the beginning of the segment. The tortilla, it actually becomes kind of like a pastry. It has a little bit of a dessert taste to it. So right before you serve it, depending on how many people, in this case we've got a serving of 4, you want to cut the tortilla just like so, just like a pie. Go a little at a time so you don't break it, like I just did. So as careful as you can. And there we go. And you can tuck everything back in so it's presentable for your guests. Okay. And it is ready to be served with any type of topping that you're in the mood for. And this is your fluffy white rice. Once you're ready to serve, keep in mind this little tortilla surprise, it also becomes your decoration of your food. So I'm going to put that in the corner and watch how fluffy this rice is. Ready? Look at that. Look at this rice. Look how it just falls right apart. You want to serve this rice with whatever your favorite topping is, whether it's beef, chicken, or a salad. It's very tasty and very healthy. Thank you for joining us. Check out our other recipes, and we'll see you next time.